I've started the recording. All right, so I'm Rusty Scioscia, and you are tuning into Turn Sideways Games. In this series, I am interviewing Kickstarter creators to hear the story behind their projects. Today, I have on the show Matt and Savannah Mundy with Sea Games. Sea has their first project live on Kickstarter, and with 13 days left to go in the campaign, they've already raised over $200,000 and received a Project We Love tag from Kickstarter. Congratulations, by the way, that's huge. So I'm excited to hear more about Matt and Savannah, how they got into board gaming, and how they went about launching such a successful first project. Matt and Savannah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So can you share with my audience a little bit more about your background, how you got into board gaming, just how you guys met maybe?
So we met in high school, and she was the catch. So it was great. I married up for sure.
Nice work. Way to go.
Yeah.
I think you can tell from this game and how he's run this whole game.
But we like games. I think our first one that we really got into was Catan, of course. Like so many other people, we played every day for months. I was like, oh, this is great. And from there, of course, we got more mature, found more games.
People who introduce other games.
Yeah.
It's not just Catan.
And so we just started chewing them up and started, the bad habit of spending more and more money on newer and newer more games.
Totally.
I think we really love the fellowship that's kind of built around the table.
For sure,
and how that brings people together.
So was it ninth grade that you met then?
Well,
technically, yes.
Okay.
We were in some classes together. We didn't start dating until after high school, but yeah. Funny story. My mom went to open house with me and was like, "He's got such a cute smile."
It's so good. Way to go, Mom. Calling it out.
Yeah.
Then 5 years later, we started dating.
Yeah. We didn't.
Did it take for you to find Settlers of Catan and kind of get into gaming?
Were we engaged at that point?
We must have been, because part of it, my brother was living at home, and that was something we would all do together. Yeah. Got
it. So it went Settlers of Catan, and then what was the next one? Do you remember?
Oh man, we got our shelf behind us.
This is some annals of history.
Yeah, I really like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And my wife, she got me Munchkin. I like it. It's a little zany and crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like one thing after. I love asymmetry, so I like things like Root, for example. I love Andrew Bosley. I think he's the best illustrator of all time. So Everdell, of course. I also like the thinky ones. So I like Rolling Realms by Stonemaier Games. I love just puzzling through. To me, that one's like Mario Party and numbers. Just like
Jaws of the Lion was also one where we kind of just like in terms of our vision of a game, that there was characters and you could have a story, and that was another love of ours. So it was like, we definitely want that incorporated in whatever we do.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then of course playing games like Parks, they're just so gorgeous, and how they're designed. I was like, okay, I want an inside liner on my box. Of course I do. Can you see how gorgeous this is? So things like that.
That's awesome. So it seems, you guys are finding a lot of value in all the nuance of games. It sounds like you've got, the characters, the story, the camaraderie that it's building, like the actual presentation, the artwork. That's awesome. That's I can see how you guys wanted to get into doing your own designs, right?
Yeah.
With the love of that. So another random question. Has Munchkin held up for you over the years?
It takes the right crowd.
Totally.
And I've played regular Munchkin one time and I didn't like it. I just think I just like the
Totally. Adventure Time's fantastic. Cool. So when did the transition happen, or what was kind of the first conversation like around hey, we could maybe design a game?
We were reading a book series with our kids, and it was this dad who wrote some stories and stuff about rabbits with swords, and we were just thinking, man, it'd be really cool if we could do something that that I could build and make, that we could share with our kids as a family and stuff. And we have chickens in our backyard that we keep. And
Nice.
That it's right there. We spend a lot of our time dealing with oh gosh, there's a snake that ate some eggs, or a hawk's trying to get him, or a possum broke in and killed a couple. So it seemed like the natural fit.
That's awesome. So how old are your kids at this point?
9, 7, 5, 1, and one in the oven.
Well, congratulations. That's I have 2 girls at home. That's 2.5 and 1.5-ish, and they're so much fun. They're so much fun. But 5, man, how do you guys find time to run Kickstarter campaigns? It's wild.
We both work from home, so that's helpful. And our families are here, so that's another layer.
And there's a lot of stuff you can do at night after the kids go to bed.
That is true. He is definitely night owl.
Totally. Reasonable bedtimes for all of them, I hope.
Depends on the day, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's that's a constant struggle on our end is just getting the kids down at a reasonable hour. But that's fantastic. So, okay, so you had concepts around where you could potentially take a game or flesh out a game design. Well, sorry, before I ask that, you said that game design is not your full-time thing and you work from home. What do you guys do for your full-time jobs?
Oh, it's what I do.
Oh, yeah, it's what you do.
She's a biblical counselor. So it means she can, as long as she has a laptop, she can meet with people and
Yeah. That was one positive thing from COVID is that opened up that realm of possibility. Yeah. But in terms of game development, one of the funny things is Matt started. He's very together oriented. All of those things. I really want to crush somebody in a game, so he wanted to do cooperative, and I was like, this is not fun. I'm still playing this, and eventually, probably a year into it. It's like, wait, we've actually gotten somewhere. I enjoy playing this. This is a good thing. We should really take off on this.
That's amazing. I'm totally aligned with you about co-op games in general. Like I've yet to play a co-op game that I've like really fallen in love with, and I agree that I want to crush somebody. Like I just that's what the fun part is.
I want to win.
Yeah. So how did that what were the elements for you that made the co-op game go from I'm not having fun to exciting?
Yeah. So several huge things, and I'm sure everybody who creates a game starts out like this. It's just one thing, and then there's like 3 other things as you learn. So adding in mini bosses really helped, and then loot drops was kind of the thing because I could be the one to get the drop.
Get the clout of getting all the loot drops.
Cool.
This was like my claim to fame. I killed this one. Really a shift for me. And then it also helps with the asymmetric people and the way Matt's prevented quarterbacking. There's not like this somebody's telling you what to do or you have to do this or the group's going to be mad or those sort of dynamics that can be uncomfortable.
So I know I'm jumping around a lot, but Matt, have you always been a game designer or were you doing something before this?
No, yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. I've worked in like retail and sales and construction, high school teacher, math, Bible, just like a little bit of everything, woodworking.
Okay.
And so, I was doing this stuff as like a side hobby. At first I was like, wait a second, the mechanisms are good. It's fun. The next part is to get Andrew the Bosley to skin it real nice for us, and help bring that theme to life. I was like, okay, well, this is a thing. Let's put all our eggs in one basket and go for it.
That's amazing. So have you done a full game design before this? Because I did some researching and I could not find anything online.
No, this is game number uno.
Okay, cool.
We've got some others that we're tweaking or working on right now, but they would definitely be there after we did this one.
That's incredible. So, all right. So I think I kind of heard a little bit about how you arrived at the theme. It was, drawing on the chickens and some of the things going around the house. And the mechanics, it sounds like you've had a lot of experience with a lot of different kinds of games, and I assume that you kind of picked some of your favorite things. What were some of the really 2 or 3 top influencers from that informed some of the mechanics?
Yeah, I mean, I love asymmetry, so that's something I really wanted to bring out. I mean, games where everyone is the same is fine, but I think almost every game could be better with asymmetry. I just love it. I love the variability it includes. And so, of course, I went to Overboard and made 11 different characters that people could be. I was like, there's 11 different characters, all asymmetric. So I think that was a large part of it is, in the end, another thing was leveling up is another one of the main mechanisms. And that came from, bringing the theme out, chicks are not like they're eggs and they're chicks, and then the poults are cockerels, then roosters are hens as they go up, and how I wanted the theme to not be a game loosely based on theme, but kind of have the theme more brought out in there. So the character flip books, like you start out as a chick, and you have your own abilities and your benefits that you get, and how your production works, and as you level up, all of that changes. You get stronger, you gain abilities, get more health, and all of that. So I think those are some of the big mechanisms that we pulled in.
Were there any games, like specific titles that heavily influenced those mechanics and the way that you developed them, or was it just your broad experience with a lot of stuff?
I mean, it's kind of like every game we play that you like, that you want to replicate, or something that you don't like that you want to avoid.
Totally.
So it might be something as simple as like, with parks, like the box is thicker, and I like that. So like, okay, our box isn't gonna be 1.5 millimeters; it's gonna be 2 millimeters because I like how that feels. It holds up, and because the game is 6.5 pounds, like you kind of need a heavier box.
Yeah.
Or something like, Rising Sun has it has like seasons in it.
Yep.
And I was like, I really like how that works in a game, and thematically it's perfect. Like, as a way to measure time in a game where time is important and there's leveling up and things like that. So I think the idea of having some like seasons in there, and so it's just like here and there, just like snippets of Savannah mentioned like Gloomhaven and the fact there being story. We love stories. Games that it's like first to 10 points wins. That's cool. We play those. But I want to know what's going on. Why are we doing this? Who's my character? Like, what kind of things do they say? So, in the rule book, we have like a short story in the beginning of it. Say like, what's going on? Why are we here? What are they doing? All the characters have bios, predators and villains. All the heroes have flavor text on every level.
Adapted quotes. Those are pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's so good. So I mean, I can appreciate the fact that like you're drawing on this whole experience of board games, and it's not just one or two specific designs. Like there are so many games in the market where it seems like a rehash or a refresh of some other game, and so what it kind of sounds like is that is not the approach you guys took. There was a ground up sort of thing, pulling on a lot of the elements that you just love from all the different kinds of games that you played. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So for both of you, I'm curious, what was the low point of the entire design and development process, and then I want to know about the high point.
So I've got one.
You go first.
So how we started this was just trying to make something fun, right? And then also we have very strong opinions about aesthetics and how things feel, all those things. So we knew nothing about how to take the idea and put it into a physical product.
Yes.
So when one of our first conversations with Andrew Bosley was, don't do this many pieces of art.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't think about aspect
you
at
mean
all in our.
That's not normal? I just designed the game, right?
Yeah.
And we went to him. He's like, "Yeah, who's your graphic designer?" I'm like, "What's that? Isn't that you? Don't you do that?" Like,
oh my gosh.
No, I'm the illustrator. Oh, okay. So we designed it with like, oh yeah, every character, bosses and heroes, have 3 stages, and they all look different.
And they're actual characters. They're not just like things that show up.
Yeah.
So
that was the low point.
What was your
Well, I would say like Kickstarter, like leading up to it, I mean, it was just really encouraging. So part of Matt's background, right, is that sales piece. He's just phenomenal at the marketing end of it. So just like, again, we're new to all of this, and as people are saying, like, you have 8,000 pre-launch followers. How does that happen? It was like, oh, okay, so this is a good number, great. And then when we click start, and the numbers are actually, there's this piece of like, is it actually going to? Like mathematically, it should, but is it really? And then just seeing people's buy-in and their comments and our Facebook group, like it's just so encouraging to see people love what we love and to be excited about what we're excited about. And I would say the hype might be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Matt, low high.
Yeah, I would say one of them is because 11 characters, you got to make sure they all play well together. So we did tons of play testing, but when we finally get to the point where it's hard to have play testers evaluate your game if it's ugly as heck, right? So I mean, I'm talking like clip art, cut out on paper.
He has many skills.
Yeah, all
we have to make it happen.
I was like, I think this is good. Let me reach out to Andrew Bosley, and because he's my favorite. So I was like, okay, well, one-stop shop. Like, he's my favorite. Let's ask Andrew Bosley.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm nobody. I want to make a game about chickens. Do you ever work with new people? And he was like, I do. I would totally love to do that, but I'm just like I'm like booked out for next year. I'm sorry. And so, I was like, oh, bummer. Like, I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And then I waited a year and emailed him back and was like, hey, it's been a year. Are you free yet? He was like, I'm still pretty full, but I'll work you in.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was like, yes,
huge.
This is so cool.
That's huge.
Yeah. And that's kind of been the thing is like all of these people that we are not well versed in this, we're learning all of it, but people who've done this have been so generous and so kind of connect us to other people who help us understand things we didn't know or even ask.
Everybody we've talked to in the industry has been so kind, helping us out, giving us advice, connecting us with the right people. It's like, oh, you didn't know about this piece? Talk to these guys.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So I've been through 2 Kickstarter campaigns, and like my background is in product development, and like I'm used to working with manufacturers in China and like doing fulfillment, and like
Okay, wow.
I remember my first time through the process was so overwhelming, and just I have so much respect and admiration for you both, having just had the foresight to do all the marketing up front, and crushing those notify us counts, and having so much success with this first one. It's truly really impressive. So congratulations. That's amazing. There's so much learning that goes into it that you guys are describing, and I've lived it, and I know it. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, and I think like Matt has listened to like everything that's available, read everything that's available, and then like I said, these people that have done this before have said, have you thought about going to a convention? Have you thought about running ads? Have you?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yes, we will do that.
I suppose I could.
Yeah. So out of all the things that you kind of got educated on leading up to this, what was the, I guess, the biggest surprise for you out of all that? Because I heard a lot of different things, but if you could pick one or two, I'm curious. Like what? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess just the idea that you can't crowdfund without a crowd.
Yes.
So I was like, oh yeah, I got the game, and I only need like let's see, how many Panda Game Manufacturing has a 2,000 minimum order, and I need like 800 people to even print the units before I even ship them anywhere, even out of China. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, I see 800 people on my Kickstarter page, right? And my videographer Ori K, and he's a great guy. He's like, let me tell you about some math here and how that works. And
Yeah.
hey, have you heard of the crowdfunding nerds? Like, go listen to their stuff. They'll tell you like what's up. So it's like, oh gosh, it's going to be really hard to pre-market this and try and get the word out. Yeah.
So that is a nice segue into the marketing prior to that, because I think that is one of the most remarkable aspects of what you've accomplished so far, is just the thinking through that and executing on it well. So whenever you first realized that you needed those 800 as a minimum, how did you kind of first start thinking about, how am I going to get people onto my page and ultimately back right early?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the math goes, I know people say like in the tabletop game space for regular publishers, you can like expect around a 20% conversion rate, and for first-time publishers, less. And so I was thinking, okay,
based on the number of people that have said notify me, is that the 20% of that? Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I don't have a realistic funding goal. I want to be one of those like, okay, the funding goal's $2,000 and we funded in 12 seconds. It's like, no, on a real funding goal, $50,000. But I still want to fund on day one. So like, what percentage do I need? And okay, I think I got it down to like 8% or something like that. Conversion rate would help me fund on day one.
These are some other concepts where we talked about like risk reduction. I cannot recommend him highly enough. He did a lot
fantastic.
of work of like helping us like think beyond this game. What kind of company do you want to build? Who are your super fans?
Yeah. So sorry, who did you say was this good resource?
Ori Kagan, Orikagan, Kagan Productions. He's the guy who did our Kickstarter video.
Got it.
But he does video.
Yeah. Like if we didn't have his advice, we wouldn't have succeeded.
He was pivotal.
And so, I did sales at one point. Like at a MMA gym, and just thinking through like, okay, a lot of people have a negative view of sales, like trying to just like sell off a lemon to people. Mm-hmm. But just the idea of like with marketing, what you're trying to do is connect people with your product, who, if they knew about it, they would love it. Mm-hmm. It's like you're serving people and connecting them with something they wish they knew about. Mm-hmm. So just trying to connect with the right people and add value to them. I like every convention I went to, I was giving away like hundreds of dollars worth of like merch. And even on the Facebook page, I was like, hey, you guys weren't going to conventions, so hey, just drop your name and I'll send you stuff. Like not even them paying shipping, just like, hey, to have like, so I got these like vinyl stickers, like waterproof. I tested it in my sink to make sure of like all the different characters. So I was like, hey, just put your name and address in this form, and I'll send you some merch. Just trying to add value to people, and I think people can appreciate. And like another thing, so on the sticker, like it's not an ad.
Yeah.
I'm not mailing someone an ad. It's like the name of the character's on there, and my website's there, very small, very like unobtrusive color. Like it's there as a reference, but really like it's a character sticker. It's not a walking ad for me. Mm-hmm. And I think people enjoyed that and saw it, and I think that helped build excitement for the game.
Yeah. So I have I got 2 games. The first one was Taco Ninja Adventure. The second one was Words of a Feather. And with Taco Ninja Adventure, I try to do a lot of upfront marketing, kind of following a similar mindset, philosophy that you just described. And I went to some conventions and I, sent out a lot of free stuff. And ultimately, like, I had very modestly successful campaign, and I've got 500 units of inventory sitting in my attic right now that I don't know if I'm ever gonna move, but I'm curious because I have some perspective on what I think was a worthwhile spend from that, and conventions are not in that list, and I'm curious, like, what are some of the things that the pre-launch marketing activities that you think were worthwhile to do versus not worthwhile to do?
I think a really unique thing. So like, I mean, even thinking about like how do we add value to people is unique. But one thing that was really important to him that was hard to make happen, we took a prototype from Panda to these conventions. That's like top of the line.
Like you couldn't tell the difference. Like it's called a prototype, but like it's nicer than like 90% of the games on my shelf, like as is.
So like that really tangible, like because we don't have any credibility. Like this is the product. This is the level that we're going to create and manufacture.
Yeah, people could put their hands on it, and I was like, I wanted to build credibility because coming from no one, like who's this guy? I was like, okay, here's the game. Like I'm going to Kickstarter with the game done. I'm not gonna say see you in 2 years when I finish the last 10%. I'd go to convention. I was like, here, feel the weight of these eggs in your hand. Like these eggs made of resin. Like they're heavy as heck. Like feel it. I'd put it in people's hands. They would see it. I was like, feel the cards. Like it has a linen finish, it has an ivory core. Like you can't get cards nicer than this.
Yeah.
And just like helping like walk through like showing them the value that is there. Because I think
Hey, there we go.
Sorry.
No, it's
I don't
all
know
good.
what happened. My computer does that sometimes.
No worries.
Yeah, just trying to help people see the value of things. Because I think if you have a product that's really, really high quality, the only hurdle is getting people to see that. And so that's why I went to conventions. I was like, okay, I want people to feel it. I want them to see it. And I think that element was really helpful in like as far as building credibility.
Yeah. How about any kind of Facebook marketing? Did you guys do marketing like online at all?
Yeah. We did some stuff with Board Game Geek 1 month before the campaign and right now during the campaign. And other than that, it was just Facebook ads.
What was your philosophy or the way that you approached running Facebook ads?
I want to find people that might be interested in my game, and I just tried to present like, the most beautiful parts of the game that I could. So I'd have, at one point I was like, okay, look at this. Like I'd have the box cover on there with the main board as the background, and I would target at like, just like anyone who's on Facebook ads knows like the basic. Okay, well, the game is in English. So like, okay, we'll speak English, and I started with America and like. People were interested in tabletop games, things like that to try and narrow the focus a little bit. And I tried to make the ads engaging. Like everyone's seen good ads and bad ads on Facebook, ads that aren't engaging and ones that are really compelling. So just trying to, tap into the part of us that, love story. Like I think all humans love story. So like, okay, so my ads are going to talk about a little bit, they're going to sneak peek some of the story element that our game has.
No, that's really, I hadn't considered the whole story thing. So I have a lot of background doing marketing, and part of the way that I was thinking about launching and marketing the last game was trying to present people with this concept of, I want to take you from where you're at today to this concept of, a fun game night, right? Like that's what everybody, whenever they buy a game, your goal is to have the most fun experience because you've got so many different games that you can pick, and you want to be thought of as like a good host and a good, curator of games, and so like. That was kind of how I was positioning, but my game didn't have any story associated with it, and so that's really interesting that the story was the main piece. But I'm sure that in general that also the concept of picking a good game that has a story like that's kind of baked in right to that bringing people there.
Yeah, and so this was like my first stab. Like I'm not I don't have like a background in like online marketing or anything like that, so take it with a grain of salt. But like I wouldn't lead with mechanisms in an ad. Like
No.
I'd list on like, okay, this is a cooperative game, but no one wants to see an ad like, okay, this.
Well, I think what we did was just
whatever,
think probably the people that are interested in this are going to be like us. what captures us.
Yeah,
What,
I just assumed I'm a
moves
regular
me.
dude. You know, so the intro ads like the founder is dead, the predators have invaded. You know, can you gather your team and like repel the invaders, or will you, along with the prophecy, be consumed?
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a mini story there.
I remember like reading that first line, "The founder is dead," and I thought like, "Oh shit, who died?" Like that's my very first thought, and it was very capturing. So you nailed that. Curious about the actual like mechanisms of the Facebook campaign, because when you're doing an ad campaign on Facebook, you can like select, I want to convert people, I want like people to like my page or interact with me. Like, did you pick a certain selection, or was it just kind of doing a bunch of different things?
I kind of just bumbled my way through it. I think I did the one on like engagement that, you know, encourages people to like click, and I sent all the traffic just to the Kickstarter pre-launch page.
Smart. Smart. I think that makes a lot of sense.
People could, you know, leave me their email on my website, or when they were joining the Flock Together, you know, group, they could give me their email if they wanted to for our monthly updates. But I wasn't pushing email collection at any point during the whole campaign.
The goal was to get people onto Kickstarter and click the like button. Cool.
So, because, I mean, again, thinking about us, I'm unlikely to give somebody I don't know, who doesn't have any credibility, my information.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more
I don't
likely
like giving I get enough spam, right?
to go to a program I know about, I've already registered on. So low investment. But then, so what's happened is the people that have sought us out from that, like in the Facebook group or in the email chain, are really interested.
Yeah.
You know, they put the time in to see, is there one?
And, you know, all the content's engaging. You like, you know, like what I did, like literally all I did was in the ad, I just commented like, hey, like, for the rest of the stories, the other characters and other sneak peeks, join our group. And I linked the group, and our group has like 1,200 people in it.
Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah. And, you know, I think the number one thing is engaging content. Like I'm trying to add value to people. I'm showing characters and their stories, like images of the game. Like that's where we did a bunch of the sticker giveaways, and trying to make it not feel like I'm badgering people, but how I can add interesting things for them to read, or things like that.
I think, you know, and this is the Kickstarter platform as a whole, but it's you. It's not a business. It's not this far removed thing. So, you know, just how do you connect with people? How do you show them who you are and what you're about? I think was, you know, a lot of that.
It's a fine line to walk, and there's also a lot of conflicting advice around, you know, do you present yourself more as a business and try to remove yourself from it, or do you try to present like this is me and get people to invest in not only the product but also, you know, you as individuals? And so it's tough to know whenever you're first getting into it, and it's amazing that you guys picked all the right things to do to get, you know, the people on.
I just assumed that I'm a regular guy and other people are like me. So I was like, hey, what would I want to listen to, or what do I want to see?
Man.
So, you know, there's like a fine line, like you talk about, like in the middle. Like, I'm not going to go, like, I didn't want to go to Kickstarter and say, hey, there's 10% of the game unfinished, help me finish it. It's like, I don't want that. I want you to show me a game, and I want to buy a game. And
totally,
you know, I love buying games, but I don't want to build your game for you. You build something amazing, give it to me, and I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go Kickstarter with it done. But also, like, in the group, I don't post as Seacal Games. I post as me, because I want people to see that it's me. Like Seacal Games, like I am Seacal Games, you know. So like I want people to see that it's me, and you know, I'm very upfront with people. I'll answer like any question people ask about.
And I think that's been really, you know, again, another unique thing that was really important to you. Like the no Kickstarter, like these are somewhat, you know, as we're talking to people, they're like, are you sure? It's like, well, this is what we like and what we're interested in. We're just going to try.
I hate stretch goals. No stretch goals. Pre-stretch. Everything's included.
I'm with you on the stretch goals. Stretch goals are kind of bogus. It's a big marketing ploy, and it feels slimy at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, it's like, don't.
Well, and we've also learned, like, from like other designers, like it can really mess up your product because you didn't weigh that, or you didn't, you know, add that component in, or think about the cost there. You know, like it's hard to guess all those things before you know if it's happening or not. And
Yeah, I'd just rather go in knowing my game's extremely expensive to manufacture.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then
charge the right amount.
Then you know.
And then you know.
Yeah.
You can plan for it all. So, is there something that you wish people would understand or appreciate just about the whole process or the kind of work that you do? Is there anything that you just, like, it's not immediately evident, but you just wish people kind of knew it?
Do you have something? I have something.
Well, I mean, I think what's been eye-opening to me, right, is I I am very conscious about spending money and what we're going to spend it on, and just like the reality of what it takes to get something made in China, put on a thing, brought here, delivered to your door. Like those pieces, it's like, what? It actually costs that? And then, I mean, so that was for me to see like, no, they're not actually marking this up a crazy amount. Like there's a reason they're using Kickstarter because this makes it possible. You know, all of those things I think for me was really important to see. This like what's going on behind it, the integrity,
Totally.
and I think that's something we wanted to communicate too. Of like we're not gimmicking, we're not.
There's no gimmicks. Like I'm like people like it costs a lot. I think people are used to Amazon with like free shipping. Well, you pay like $150 a year for that free shipping.
Yeah.
You know, if you pay me $150, I'll ship the game to you for free too. But you know, so like I'm not making money on shipping. Like I'm subsidizing every game. Like that shipping doesn't cover it, and that's just the manufacturing piece. Like my game costs triple to manufacture any game in that size.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like my margins are real small. Like like I had to crack six. Like I don't even know if I broke even yet. I don't know. We'll figure it out at the end.
It's constantly developing as you have to order more product too.
Yeah.
Like our numbers change.
But so like it like I would like it really is like a deluxe product, and I'm not like charging out the wazoo. Like I just want it on the people's tables.
Well, and again, that's that piece from Ori of like, we want to be a business that people are excited about whatever the next product is. Cause you know, this is the level of what we do.
And once people get this game to their tables, like everyone's going to know the next game that comes out will be the nicest game on their shelf. Like I'm totally confident. Like when people get their game, it will be like top 10 easy, like highest production value games they own, like flat out.
That's amazing. I love it.
I guess it was certainty.
So like thinking long term, like we don't just want people to back this one thing. We want them to be excited with whatever Seacow Games does next. And so like we're not just building a one campaign, we're building like a legacy. And how do we do that?
Yeah. That's incredible. So what do you want the Seacow Games long term to stand for? I heard like quality, premium games. I suspect that it's also like story-driven games, right? And probably beautiful artwork. Is there anything else? Like, how would you kind of bundle that all together? Is there like a tagline or a vision?
Yeah.
You nailed the three highs that we.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be a company that produces, amazing like games, like as far as like mechanisms go, like actual good games that you want to play. Yeah. Clothed with, beautiful art and, incredibly high quality components that come along with this compelling story that all have the purpose of bringing people together for an amazing time that they can enjoy together.
Love it. That's beautiful. And for me personally, I think I have a full-time job. This is a side hustle that I can't help myself from just continuing to do. And I think that it's ultimately whatever I see people having fun playing a game that I made, that is like, that makes it all worth it. And I think it sounds like you guys are in the same headspace. So that's awesome. That's really, really cool. Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that I should have asked you about?
I think you've covered most things. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're just so thankful for this community and the opportunity to create something like this. It's just awesome.
Everyone we worked with has been amazing. Everyone on the Flock Taylor team has been like, I couldn't recommend them highly enough for. If you're looking for an illustrator, use Andrew Bosley. Yeah. If you need a graphic designer, use John Merchant. Okay. And on down the list. Like
I might actually reach out to John. I got something going on, and I'm the graphic designer on all my projects so far, and I'm hitting my limits, man. I'm not that good.
He's fantastic.
Okay.
I couldn't have found a better graphic designer. He's great.
I'm gonna have to reach out to him. Cool. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on the show and kind of sharing everything that you have about the process and yourselves. These are so interesting for me, and I hope they're interesting for somebody else online, and just thinking about doing this, or even designers today in the field. I mean, you guys have had such an amazing success with this first one, just in terms of building the community, and I wish you the best of luck with wrapping up this one and the next one that you guys launch. I'm excited to see everything you guys got coming out.
Yeah, we have a few ideas in the works.
Sweet. Thanks
so much, Rusty.
All right.